4 because uh my computer was acting funky.
Yeah, take your time. No worries. We're
4 because
there we go.
hmm? Oh. Yeah, so Danny's on vacation with John, which gives which means I'm on vacation from them.
I understand and I appreciate that.
I love my lovelies, but I am with John like every second he's not in school. I need a break.
That makes sense. No one's gonna blame you. We all understand. Kids are hard. It's always good to get your battery recharged, right? I
Oh,
did.
Get up the Hellgate.
Yeah, I have some stuff. So
Heckgate.
what?
Did you do
What?
what was the other one we were gonna talk about?
We've got
Right,
plenty to talk
right.
about. Let's hear what Corey has to say about the news. I'm curious.
so is that where you want to start with the
Yeah, lay it
news?
on us. Let's start with your
All
news.
right. So, well, this is going to be a largely budget heavy conversation.
Let's
So
do it.
let's start with local budget. Let me move this over here so I can see better. So let's see. There's concern that Mayor Parker is wasting her first budget. Like generally speaking, like when historically, like when mayors do their very first budget, that's when they're gonna do all of the big stuff.
Okay.
She's not.
Hmm.
She is largely sticking with, the low level spending that she had laid out previously. You know, work to green the city, work to clean up the all the abandoned cars. There's
Mhm.
money going towards hauling away the 10,000. I didn't realize there were that many abandoned cars in
There's a
Philly,
lot. Yeah,
10,000
that's
abandoned
crazy.
cars. And to seal up 900 vacant lots, which is eh,
Seal up.
yeah, like instead of like rehabbing them, you're gonna just seal
Lock them
them up.
off.
That's what a well, yeah, I'm sure you've seen the on like the Philly owned housing, like when they're not occupied, they put those weird, I don't know, like trash can bin looking things, or laundry basket looking things, bins over the top of like the door and like the
Oh,
windows and stuff. It's kind of like I don't know, like some weird metal thing that like you can't like break into it.
interesting. And they have like a sign that says all the utilities are off, so it's like poisonous in there. Like I've seen those things before. Is that what the kind
Yeah, something like that.
of
She is doing an interesting pilot program that I think could be interesting. She's investing $11 million into a pilot program that increases the number of times that the uh
we're losing you.
twice a week. Oh, what do you mean?
Got a little,
Like
it
you're
got
not
you
hearing
going.
me?
No, you kind of, yeah, I didn't hear you and you froze.
Oh, oh,
I can see now.
she's investing $11 million um to increase the number of times the trash company comes out and picks up our trash from once a week to twice a week. So that's interesting.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I don't think I use that much trash,
No,
but
but like if they're going to be taking care of the public trash receptacles,
you
that
might,
from what I
yeah,
understand, that's a big problem because they get rats.
yes, yeah, and so that'll be interesting. All total in all, her budget is investing $246 million to clean up Philly, which I think could go a long way towards, making the city a better place to be in.
Sure.
And also to, as we've previously discussed, reducing crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Is there
that's fair.
is there street sweeping in that too? I guess there is.
I suppose so. Yeah, there would have to be. Yeah.
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 Which my street could use it, but it's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've ruined our street doing all the
Oh.
all of the upgrades to the gas.
Oh.
And
Oh, right.
like, but I'm glad that part is over for
Mhm.
us. It's because that is terrible when they wake you up at 7 a.m. and you hear the siren from the police car or whatever telling you that they're going to tow your vehicle.
Oh, right.
I
Yeah.
don't even have
Yeah.
a car, and I'm annoyed by that shit.
Yeah. We had that in East Falls not long ago. Yeah. I guess it was
We
citywide.
were resurfacing, right? And that was
Yes.
here.
Citywide.
Well, they
Wow.
weren't resurfacing our street. They were just like I said, redoing the gas.
Mhm.
Like there was a whole day where and I didn't even know it. But that we didn't even have any gas in the house.
Right. Ooh, all right.
Mm.
All
I
right.
didn't even know. I was
Surprise.
fucking, cook in the middle of the day. But
Right.
now I know Pico is actually going out around our neighborhood. I think this Friday.
Mhm.
And we're not going to have power all day. Now that is going to suck.
That
'Cause I
will.
can't do jack.
Yeah, that will suck. We could go to a library or something, plan to get out of the house that day, maybe.
Yeah, I could probably, what? I probably should.
Yeah.
Probably should take that as like a day off or something and
Yeah.
go do some. It's not like I'm broke anymore.
Yeah. That's good news. That's always good news. And funny you should mention utilities because we're having a really interesting issue in East Falls where we are. I don't know how much did you catch last week when the government the EPA sent out a warning about all of our water supply?
No.
They said that we've got they've been hacked already by Iran hacked in Western Pennsylvania, and China has been hacking. And they put out a warning with high confidence that China and Iran are targeting our water supply as the first place of where they're going to hit us if and when there's a military conflict of some kind or political tensions, and that's where they would like to start. So the government they have like a special Zoom meeting for all the governors to advise everyone to upgrade all your passwords when you can and take that infrastructure money and start moving right now on these plans because it's very important, blah, 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 blah. And East Falls, Philadelphia at least has been on this, right? We're like actually
Yeah.
I didn't know our water department has been around since 1801.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. So we've been on this. So we have like this 25-year plan and it all includes all these safety upgrades and modernization, blah, 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 blah. But here's the fun part is that there's 3 reservoirs for Philadelphia. We can get our water from the Schuylkill and the Delaware. The Schuylkill has 2 reservoirs. One is in Queen Lane where we live, East Falls.
Yep.
And then the other
Yep.
one is in Belmont. And right
Yep.
now they're going to have to make redundancy, which means that they need to be able to switch off one and drain it and repair it if they need to and get all our water from one reservoir. And then if they need to, they should be able to switch back to the other one. So they're going to go back and forth. So anyway.
So where would that go if
Well, I
they
guess
trained it?
the big
Back into
go
the
one
school?
one will go into the other. They'll drain one reservoir, I guess, back into the river, right? The pipe is going to go under the Schuylkill River, which is just blows my mind that they're going to do that. That's like such an engineering feat, like
Yeah,
I'd be like,
right.
you can't do that. Nah, better make it through the sky or something. But we're going underground, baby. So yeah, that's kind of neat. But
That is kind of neat. That is
I
kind of
know.
Yeah, I'm really proud of Pennsylvania and Philly and President Biden for like all of the infrastructure, that
Respect.
they're investing in. After 4 years of Trump, promising it every single week and
Yep.
never getting anywhere, which leads me to the
Okay.
next bit of budgeting.
All right. Good.
So Biden on Friday signed a $1.2 trillion budget package that they were finally able to get through both the House and Senate this week.
Right.
As part of that, there's a lot of cuts that were made. And where am I? That's right. I had to pull that back up. Let's see. Pull that back up.
You can share your screen if you want. If it's easier, whatever.
Um,
Just, you know.
so part of this, let's see where, let me get to the cuts. Oh, as part of it is cuts for financial regulators to slow the cost and burdensome regulatory agenda. They're taking back 10.2 billion from the administration and partially defunding the Biden's internal revenue from the Internal Revenue Service.
I hate that.
Yeah. They're clawing back 2.16 billion in unused COVID funds, which I don't know why they were unused in the first place. It's like they should have been just freaking
Right.
used.
What were we sitting on them for?
Yeah, I don't understand. Let's see. The budget prevents the Consumer Product Safety Commission recent efforts to ban. That's so stupid. That they were never gonna ban gas stuff. That is so dumb, and that is not what they had said it to begin with. Like the Republican, this is the entire like nonsense that in the what the Republicans have put out is exactly right. It's a messaging bill. You know, all of these cuts are messaging, with the exception of the 10.2 billion for the IRS.
Well, what were you saying just now? What are they messaging on this one? I didn't-
A while back, maybe the beginning of the Biden administration, maybe it was during the Trump administration, the Consumer Protection Bureau had put out a warning about like gas stoves
Oh, right.
that they could be like, you could be like breathing in like
Yes.
toxic fumes
I
from
do remember
that.
that.
Mhm.
It didn't ban gas stoves.
No, it just
No.
and it stopped like subsidies for putting them in the house and made it so that it's more attractive to put electricity or something that's not gas,
Yeah.
I believe.
It's actually 4.3 billion in unnecessary or unused COVID
See,
funding.
that is really weird because WHYY has just launched this Boost Truth effort for COVID, which we're kind of like, why are we doing COVID now? And so they are asking us to come to them with an idea, and if we get picked, we get $3,000 to promote some idea about COVID awareness, COVID something. And A of all, you know, we have a ton of ideas, but B of all, like, who cares about COVID these days?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess because
Like
I'm
I
a,
do,
I'm in the medical industry,
sure.
partially, so
It's still
I
there.
care
Right,
about it.
it's still there. We care,
But
but I'm just saying, like the public, like how is that messaging going to land is my concern.
I don't know.
Does John's school have any particular COVID measures in place? How's that work?
I mean, it's still, I think, the same as like everybody else. Like, if you're sick, like I think you got to stay out like 5 days now.
Well, they changed
Okay.
that. They don't, there's
Huh.
no more, you don't have to stay out anymore at all, according to the CDC now.
Well, that's not the CDC. I'm talking about the
The
school
school, so
district.
they at
Mhm.
least appealed this day that keep their, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Um, all those little buggers are nasty anyway. So
Yeah. I wish everybody wore masks from like, as soon as the weather gets cold. Whenever we're inside.
I don't care one way or the other. I mean, I personally never liked it. I did it merely out of respect for everybody else because I'm not an ass.
Right. Well, I hate getting
Okay, so I am an asshole, but I'm not that kind of an
Not that
asshole.
kind.
your assholery is in a
You have
a
a
whole
different
different
brand.
category. Yeah. Yeah.
There's also a number of riders on it. They're maintaining the Hyde Amendment, which basically says that the government can't use Medicare or Medicaid funding for abortion care. Um, there's pro-life.
Call that forced birth. I prefer that.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
yeah, forced birth for, to prevent individuals like nurses, doctors from being forced to perform or participate in it. Who the hell was forcing anybody
It's
to do that?
bizarre. It's bizarre.
Nobody was doing that.
It's
Like,
bizarre.
if you work for like an abortion care facility, then
That's your
you
choice.
obviously, yeah, you made the
Yeah.
choice.
Duh. It's annoying as hell. It really is. Like I just can't believe we're here. I just can't. I can't even with this.
And now here's a funny name for an amendment because it is very apropos. The Dickey Amendment ensures that federal funds cannot be used to advocate for or promote gun control.
Weird. That's
Not
weird.
that we need any of that.
Right. That's so weird.
Well, do they still not fund gun research? I wonder. That's probably not in there either. Or that.
Actually, that would be in there because,
Yeah.
like, that's what largely that would be going to, I think.
We wouldn't find out all the people killing themselves and their spouses. That would be
I don't know.
unseemly.
Oh,
wouldn't want to
yeah, we
disturb
wouldn't want
the
that.
children. Yeah.
The overall the spending was cut by 6% of what the Biden administration had previously asked. It promotes anti, forced or pro forced birth agenda,
Mhm.
prioritizes funding to counter China, including 300 million in foreign aid for Taiwan. A fully funding for the annual security commitment to Israel of 3.3 billion. It also prohibits any taxpayer fundings from going to UNRWA, which I'm good with that.
I don't know who that is. Who's that?
UNRWA, they're the UN refugee agency for Palestinians. A lot of their the aid that was going through them and like their programs like ended up actually supporting or being like directly linked to terrorism, whether it was because they were shifting aid to the terrorists or by promoting hate like propaganda in the schools that they ran. A lot of their teachers are known to be linked to either Hamas or the Muslim Brotherhood. And then obviously what was it, 11 or 12
Yeah, I think it was
teachers.
13. Yeah.
Might have been 13. Might have been 13.
Who actually
That-
participated, or they
Yes.
claim to have participated, but I don't know that that's been proven.
No, it's been proven. It has been
by
proven
what source?
by Israel through photographs and like
Oh,
their own
Oh, so
imaging.
Israel proved it, but then I'm not hearing that on the other side or from other groups.
They have that the UN has said yes, this happened, and it had, and there's an abundance of evidence to show that.
Yeah, it's funny. I'd been reading something else, but hold on.
What are you reading? Guardian?
Yeah.
Because they have images of the people and they have like their worker IDs and like they're able to compare that. They're able to see like, their messaging on their
Right.
WeChat. WeChat?
Probably.
Is that
I think it's
what
WeChat.
it's called?
It's not Snapchat, it's WeChat.
No, something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever it is that they use to like talk about like their nonsense.
Right, right, right.
Um,
But to clarify,
anyway,
we moved from the
Looks-
Philadelphia budget to
yes, yeah, to the federal budget.
That'd be wild if that was Philly's budget.
Well, it says here, let's see, what am I looking at here? This looks like
What do you got there?
Common Dreams, it's called. Apparently, Finland has resumed contributions to the life-saving organization.
Yes.
Implicit rebuke of unsubstantiated Israeli claims, reportedly extracted via torture.
But
That
who is
staff
the-
members were involved in the October 7th.
Well, I'll give it to me
attacks.
because I'll put it up.
Sure, yeah.
Just tell me what it is. But if it's just like Smilosaurus or whatever, we don't want that.
Common Dreams is like a very far left source, and like there
Right.
was never any evidence of torture.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my
Let's
anyway,
media bias
and it-
fact check.
I
Who
guess
is it,
my
Steve?
point, I guess my point is that Finland is resuming contributions. So
Okay.
that's it.
I believe also Canada did too.
Who is this, Steve?
Common Dreams. I'm sending it to you now.
Okay.
I believe also Canada did too.
I'm just media bias fact checking them. Common Dreams bias and credibility, left bias. Factual reporting of High, founded in 1997. Common Dreams is a US-based progressive news website. Common Dreams publishes news stories, editorials, and newswire of current breaking news. They also republish relevant content from other sources and links to columnists, periodicals, radio outlets, according to their about page. So it has bias rating left, factual reporting high, US.
Here's the thing
website
about that
track.
though, that I've seen like recently, even like news organizations that I would have long said were high on on a factual rating,
Mhm.
like have shown themselves to be incredibly biased in this war and are, accepting whole cloth without any real due diligence the word of Hamas, like without,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
don't know. I mean, that's
I
why
understand that, but at some point we're going to still, it's hard to say like,
everybody's biased.
or it's hard, yeah, and it's hard to be like somebody has to. If it's rated, the media bias fact check really goes through super.
Yeah, you
oh,
have
wait,
to have
that's
some
weird.
kind of referee.
Right.
And you do, and I agree, and I'm just saying that
This is March 22nd.
even that we should have we should take with a grain of salt these days.
Well, I'm sure all of it in future will require annual bilateral discussions with Finland on how to improve the efficiency of risk management. It is of paramount importance to ensure our money does not end up benefiting tourism. I mean, terrorism or tourism, frankly. Right? Terroristic tourism. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, here, hold this. What? Boom. All
But
right.
here's the thing, like the UNRWA people actually at the beginning of all of this, like when it was like exposed initially, had admitted, yes, these people worked for us. Yes, these people did participate,
Mhm.
they haven't gone all the way through like the I think there was like over 1,000 maybe people that were supporting it and or connected in other ways, but at a minimum those 13 people like are known to have participated.
And it
Not-
says that 9 of them are gone now. And I don't know about the other 3.
Where are you reading? Oh, how do I say that? UNRWA?
Yeah.
UNRWA Commissioner.
UNRWA.
UNRWA. Okay, thank you.
And again, it's-
Terminated 9 of the 12 employees accused by Israel. However, he later admitted to having no evidence to support their firing, calling the termination an act of reverse due process. An Israeli dossier cited by country suspending UNRWA funding also contained no concrete evidence of staff involvement of the October 7th attacks. And then this is the part that's actually kind of troubling.
And see, that's what I'm talking about, like the BS of it, because I have literally seen images taken from the body cameras that they were using, the whatever those little
Hmm.
body cameras that they were using. Yeah, what do you call those things? The what? GoPros.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen images of the individuals on the GoPros from the Hamas perspective and compared it to like
Wait,
the IDs of these people.
absolutely,
They
absolutely,
are
and,
the
no one
people.
is certainly, and no one is saying that doesn't happen. But again, proof of some dishonesty doesn't necessarily mean
No,
everything.
and I'm
Even though then, in a
and
court of
I'm
law,
not
that's
saying
something that they say, right? They say one law means you can't,
Yeah.
you can dismiss everything. So I understand the urge to do that.
no,
Um,
and I'm not saying that, and
no,
I'm saying that in this particular context, with the context of the Israeli conflict, like we need to learn to take everything that the media puts out with a grain of salt, and like really slow down, like
well, it's hard to say that people are
our
starving, though. It's hard to be like, "Hey, hey, whoa, 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 let's put the brakes on this." I think that there's a natural tendency for, I think, most people anywhere when they hear about kids starving and people starving and civilians being harmed, that it's hard to want to take a moment to think about something. But I understand your
you're
point
right.
that
It
it
is
is
hard to
important
do
to.
that, but it's necessary to
Certainly,
do that.
certainly.
Yeah, but
Especially because
what's necessary about it though if the kids are starving?
that's not necessarily the case either. And if
What's
even
not the
where
case?
it is,
I'm sorry, hold on. What's not the case? The kids are not starving?
I'm not saying all of the kids aren't starving. I'm not saying that there isn't a need for aid. I'm saying that the propaganda that has been put out there has been like insane. Like they showed the at one point they were showing this kid that looked as if they were dying of starvation, but the reality is they had cerebral palsy, and that's what they were dying of. And like, you would see like all of these adults around them that were clearly not hungry and clearly very healthy. And then you would have this little child that was emaciated, from the
What
the the
it's
disease.
what where are you seeing these images at?
I
I've
can
seen
pull
them.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
can share them if you'd like.
yeah, yeah.
But they're a little old though at this point, I think. It's a couple
They,
weeks old
it is a
now.
little old, and again, I'm not saying that there are not hungry people, but that wasn't even the point. The point was like the cause. Like you have to slow down and like take a step back when you're blaming Israel for, something that is something that happens in like I've never heard of any other state in a war that is commanded to take care of the civilians, feed, house, and provide like electricity and whatnot for the enemy.
But you're in territory that's supposedly theirs.
No,
It's
well,
yeah, because they invaded our territory.
right.
Well, I mean, they did make that attack, which is an atrocity, but I'm just saying that
I think it's
the
important.
other part of it is that now you're into places where they're living and knocking out their power and
I
water
think it's
and
Well, then you should absolutely talk to Hamas about that.
right, right. And I think
Like
it's important to
this,
nobody told
this,
Hamas to
right,
put,
right.
their
I think we
weapons of
agree that
war.
that Hamas is awful, but does that mean that the civilians should be
I
burdening?
right. I think it's
They're
important.
not they're not burdened by Israel. They're burdened by Hamas. You're
But the
putting the
shells
onus.
are the shells are Israeli. The bullets are Israeli.
And there are some
Yeah,
journalists that got killed and stuff. I mean, I think it's
but
a
that is not the problem of Israel. Like, what
Why
is
is it?
Israel
Oh,
supposed to
wait, hold on.
do
hold
in
on,
that
listen.
situation?
Yeah.
Like, if Hamas or the U.S. Army, said the U.S. Army came and put um missiles in my son's school and stored guns in my house and used it to attack, and say Canada,
Right.
that's comparable, and
Mhm.
Canada bombed my house
Right.
and bombed my son's school. Should I be mad at Canada for that, or should I be mad at my government who put these things where my
Agree.
child is.
Agree. But there's also a lot of indiscriminate bombing where people aren't hiding
Nope.
weapons.
Nope.
Wait.
I don't
You're
know.
shelling
I
a very
don't
densely
know.
packed civilian area. You're telling me we're all
Let me read
terrorists?
you. Let me.
Yeah, please, let's share the screen. Let's get
Yes.
a look
Hold
at
on, let
some of
me-
this stuff.
hold
This
on,
is
let me-
important. I appreciate that.
Let me pull it up because there was. Oh crap. Okay. Who was he? Was he for West Point? I think.
Amnesty International. Ooh, that's
West
23. Look at that.
Point. Urban War. No.
Like,
Urban
man, like that's last year, but still.
expert on
Like, are we have to like deny human rights watch.com and Amnesty International? Like, I don't know. These are people that I've kind of been, these are organizations I've kind of leaned on for information in all kinds of other conflicts.
You're right. I have. And
But just this
it-
one for some reason is different.
But it's always been that
Always
way
different?
for no, it's always been that way for Israel. Look at the way they look at how the world has reacted towards the way when Israel was attacked, and now the way they're reacting when Russia had a terrorist attack by ISIS.
Yeah, what does that mean?
They're vastly different. Like Israel is blamed for their own like being victimized, while the Russian people are supported by the global community.
But going into Gaza,
Russia people are supported by the global community?
In the contents of that terror attack, yes, they were.
just like harmless civilians are being slaughtered, I guess, yes. With Gaza, yes. Or starved.
Yeah, like
Yes.
everyone supported Israel as well when
Here we go.
Oh, we're all for them going back because they got attacked. It was a total atrocity on October 7th.
and they
There's
still
no
have
doubt about it.
still have hostages.
I'm a fan of going in and finding them by the point of a rifle, not by the barrel of a heavy piece of ordnance. Send out special forces. Send in people who can actually eyeball these guys and take them out.
The chair of urban warfare studies at West Point Modern Warfare Institute released an op-ed on Wednesday arguing that Israel's war on Hamas has implemented more measures to prevent civilian casualties than any other military in history.
Yes.
But does that mean that there haven't been innocent civilians killed by heavy?
No, and I didn't say that. And I didn't say that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's everywhere.
I'm saying go in with the barrel of a gun. I'm saying make sure you get the people on the ground to go in and find these guys specifically, not send.
Have you ever like been inside like a tunnel situation or fought?
No, I haven't. But you have experience in the military. Tell me how effective heavy ordnance is in a heavily populated civilian area.
Let me tell you how many people would die if they hadn't.
So it's better to
how many Israeli or IDF soldiers would die if they hadn't done that?
Maybe then you shouldn't go in. Maybe you should look for a two-state solution.
They have. They've been offering two-state solutions.
Well, you know who hasn't?
Since the beginning.
Netanyahu.
I think he knows everybody hates Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Everybody. Of course. So what? What about the other previous umpteen times they were offered?
That's true.
A two-state solution.
That's true.
You're saying that about now? Okay. Well, what about in 2000? What about in the
let's talk about
90s
now, then.
and the 70s?
Here's my solution. Get rid of Hamas, get rid of Netanyahu and that government.
I agree.
Get rid of.
I agree.
2 states.
Everybody's happy for that.
Yeah.
I
But
agree.
but the problem that we're looking at is Netanyahu and Hamas, right? Those are
the
our
problems. Get
issues
the
right
vote
now.
out of the way.
But you
But
also
then there's a
can't, sit
process.
there and sit there and say, Israel has to do this, that, or the other when they've done that. They've also made umpteen million different attempts to get a ceasefire since this war started, and Hamas refuses every single time.
That's
Well, that's interesting because I just read a story the other day about when Biden was vice president and he went over to visit, and they
What is
actually,
Biden?
they
What is
actually,
what is when
they,
Biden
they,
have to do
they
with
actually
this?
timed it to increase the settlements in the
What
West
is
Bank.
it? Yeah, but you're changing
So,
the
so that to me
subject.
is that to
You
me
are
is not.
changing the subject.
No, it's not.
It is.
You are.
No,
Yes,
that
you
you
are.
just talked about ceasefires, and they talk
Yeah, in the
about provocation.
correct
That's
context.
provocation.
You're going all the way back to
But
Biden
to
being vice
Biden being
president.
vice
Well, of course.
president,
Of course,
that
he's
was what?
talking about PLA. Come on. Of
That
course.
was what,
Well,
16 years
I guess
ago?
I guess my point is the blame runs both ways.
Of course it
Let's talk
does.
Of course it
solutions.
does.
But
Corey's
I'm
always
talking about
acknowledged there's
right
right-wing
now.
lunatics
Sure.
in Israel.
I'm talking
we
right
already
now.
know. Yes,
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 that's
yes,
what I'm
yes.
talking about too.
Are you though? You
talking
just
about
brought
this.
up Biden's like being vice
Sure.
president.
That's part. It's
Don't
all part of
upset.
the
You're
history.
upsetting the cat.
It's all part of the
He's
history.
Oh,
upsetting
sorry.
the
I'm
cat.
sorry, Kitty.
No,
It's
no,
all part of the
Steve's
history.
upsetting the cat.
That's okay. It's all part of the history.
I'm being loud too, so.
That's
Yeah.
okay. But
Yeah.
no, I think we're all on the same page here. It's just that
I'm not being too
it's
loud,
really
though.
hard. I think it's really hard for a lot of people that aren't of, Swana persuasion, that aren't Jewish, that have just kind of been rolling around wondering what's going on. And there really was a time in the 90s and the late 80s that literally you couldn't say like, hey, why doesn't Palestine have their own country? And people, or why doesn't Palestine have something? And you would, there was a very strong backlash against any support of Palestine. Like, I'm old, I remember that. I do remember that. So I think that a lot of what Steve is reacting to is mired in that time where we wanted to all be such a unified country, all in 110% for Israel. And it was like, you couldn't really speak to the other side. And I think that time has passed, way past. And I think
that people are overcompensating, though.
Yes.
Like,
that's what I was trying to say.
I have always held
Yes.
a reasonable position
Yes.
that I want to see, the Palestinians have their own state,
Yes.
even if like there are umpteen, like 23 or more, 47 or however many Arab states,
Right.
even if that is the case.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be people that argue that, that's, it's insane to give them another state for that reason. Especially in our homeland. I've always argued that yes, you should. Like, they have as much of a right to self-determination as we do, whether it is their homeland or not. And I don't agree that it's their homeland.
I agree.
I believe that they're Arabs and Arabia is their homeland. However, they have been there for thousands of years, or not thousands, but nearly 1,000 years. And I think that gives them the right to place. I would make the same arguments for Native Americans in the US and in Mexico and South America. They absolutely have the right to self-determination, and that they should be able to move about freely throughout the Americas because they've been there. I don't think that, at the same time, I don't think that Europeans or whoever, those, we all come from, because we all come from somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
should be forced to go back to wherever that is.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
it's a very reasonable position, that both sides can win. The problem is that not everybody, the extremists on both sides view this as a zero-sum game, and it's not.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. That's important.
Human lives are not a zero-sum game.
Amen.
And while death is tragedy, is tragic and horrible in war, like it is also what it is. And until both sides are really, truly ready to come to the table for peace and not as some, game to re-up their arms or, to do this again. We're going to keep doing this and innocent people are going to keep dying.
That's what we've been that's what we've been doing, and it is what it is. I'm sorry, just given what we're seeing coming out of that area, I don't think that should be acceptable for anybody. War being war is not a good excuse for what's happening there right now and the things we're seeing there.
This is interesting. What year is this from? It's from October. There you go. Is this kind of what you were talking about? The Gaza film industry misrepresented as proof Palestinian war victims are crisis actors.
That wasn't what is specifically what I was talking about. But that
I'd love to see that.
But that is a thing over there.
Right. Well, AP's assessment says the widely shared clip is taken from a 2017 news report on the film industry in Hamas-controlled Gaza. The story features a makeup artist discussing some of the challenges for Palestinian women hoping to break into the local film industry. Social media users, however, are claiming to have incontrovertible video evidence that the Palestine victims of the latest clash between the two bitter enemies are merely pretending to be hurt. And many are sharing a video showing this woman dabbing fake blood and other things. And Hollywood, no, it's Pollywood, and crisis actors are working overtime to fool the world, said one Instagram user who shared the video in a post that's been liked more than 47,000 times. Don't fall for it. The choice is yours. And AP is saying that that's not right. It's actually just taken from a movie back in 2017. So do you have something like that?
Currently, no, I wasn't prepared.
Oh, no. I'd love to show the videos side by side. There was another similar one that I'm looking at, fact checking Israel Hamas's false claims, and they do talk about videos side by side, and that is has been debunked as well. It's just that the videos aren't coming up for me. There've been since.
I think it's an individual. You have to look at things.
Sure.
On an individual basis.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't say that all of the images and videos that are coming forward
No, and just because
are fake or are real.
right, right.
It's called the fog of war for a reason.
Amen. You're right. And speaking of, this is a fun one. Isn't this very realistic? Do you see it yet?
No, what am I looking for?
I'm sharing the screen. It's a Meanwhile in Ukraine post, and it shows the billboard of Putin. It says, apparently in Russian, it's supposed to say stability. And the irony is that obviously it's flaming wreck behind it. But that's all AI. But I thought that was pretty good, with the exception of the hole or something in the in the space.
I thought that was like
a shell
poop or like
right,
paint or
right. Like I would think you should be able to see through it. It should show the red through it.
Yeah, the flame.
I think that would be very believable. But look at how they got the embers right. That's pretty intense.
That is pretty intense. That is really, really good.
I thought
for AI.
I know. So it's kind of scary now that AI is really so we're gonna have to really be on alert.
But to what we were saying before about the need to take videos and images individually and like examine them ourselves with a critical eye.
Sure.
Like that's what I was talking about before, about slowing down and like taking a breath before we go out and we post something. Or even as reporters, before we report something, you can't you gotta know, like as a reporter, you cannot trust, what Hamas says as fact.
Right.
They're a terrorist organization. Of course they're gonna lie.
Or anyone in a conflict, if anyone,
Yeah,
either
absolutely.
side,
And
they're
even the
going to, they have
IDF.
propaganda. We had propaganda in the United States during World War II. We did it, right?
War is truth.
It
right?
is. Well, yeah, there you go. True. Yes, yes. The Spaga War, truth. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So as soon as there's, all of us should have our bullshit meters on. But unfortunately, these are very emotional times and these are very emotional things. So people, and unfortunately, everybody's a journalist now, right? Before you could at
No,
least
everybody thinks they're a
yeah,
journalist.
yeah. Everyone
They're
told
not journalists.
no,
They
no.
think they are.
Yes, yes, yes. And just because some of us who decide we're journalists without real, we didn't go to school. Steve and I didn't go for school but it's not, what you're advocating for, the sourcing, the slowing down, the digesting of the information instead of the reacting of it. That is so crucial. But everybody, everything I read is telling us that we are in a major, we are just galloping headfirst into complete and utter information chaos.
Which, that kind of reminds me, the other day, I had one of the conversations that I had with my AI that I'm training was I was asking it because I'd always felt guilty about working on Shabbat as a journalist.
Oh, yeah.
And so I wanted to know from it whether or not, like, I was violating, halakha law,
Hmm.
And in the course of that conversation, we had come to a little bit of a discussion on AI
Mm-hmm.
and the use of AI to help journalists. And one of the things that the bot had come to, had told me is, no, do not trust
Yeah.
the
Good.
AI. Do not trust AI. Always supervise AI.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
The
awesome.
larger your ask, the more it hallucinates.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's handy in a way to handle small things, but if you give it something big, man, you gotta really come.
I think it's good for like data analysis that you've fed it,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
but that's about it, really.
Right. I find that too. If I've already done the research and I'm just being like, oh, what about that part of it? And you're asking a very specific thing, a lot of times it can dig that up for me and I appreciate that. But you're right. It's just,
Yeah, you
have
have
broad.
to keep it on a very short leash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now let's go back to, we're talking about the death toll.
Yes.
And we're talking about how I was talking about how it's actually like a miracle, the number of deaths that have actually occurred compared to like other,
like Dresden or whatever.
I wasn't gonna go that far.
Well, I mean, still.
But like other urban combat situations, like when in Aleppo or in any other modern context, Israel has actually, it's the death toll is like to like terrorist to if you take both sides with a grain of salt and kind of come to like estimated numbers, because you can't give exact numbers
Right.
in a war like this. Israel's like side by side like ratio is like 1 to 2, 1 to 1.5 or something like that.
Okay,
Terrorists to civilians. The average over modern warfare has been anywhere between 1 to 6 to 1 to 10 civilian casualties per.
How do you define the terrorists, I guess is my question. And we can go back to Vietnam and talk about that. I don't think that's changed very much. And I think the problem is you don't really know who the combatants are when you're in an urban situation.
If you're pointing a gun at me, you're a combatant.
Well, I'm just saying people can also put booby traps, bombs, you name it. I'm just saying who's
you're right.
You're
right.
Identifying the combatants. That's the hard part. It's almost impossible.
Reuters. This is neat. Graph suggesting low. Here's the Reuters. Let's share this. I don't know. I don't even know what this says, so we're just gonna see. Is that Reuters? Yeah. Graph suggesting low Gaza airstrike casualty rate misrepresents data. This is from January 29th. A misleading comparison of casualty rates per airstrike has spread on social media, suggesting that Israel has a relatively low casualty rate in Gaza compared with other 21st century conflicts. The graph in the post presents an unsourced and artificially low figure for Gaza deaths due to airstrikes alongside rates calculated by a UK charity for the deadliest airstrikes during battles in Iraq and Syria. But that charity's own calculations for all three conflicts show airstrike casualties in Gaza to be much higher, closer to the Iraq and Syria figures, and to exceed global averages, according to the organization's executive director and an independent researcher. And there is the misleading, apparently. On the misleading graphic titled "Civilian Deaths per Airstrike," and the graph.
And that would be misleading because that's not what I had said
Okay.
either.
Okay. I'm not. Yeah.
So,
I didn't even know what this was. I just wanted to bring that up. That again, to your point, there is so much misinformation and confusing information out there that you can see how I might even think that you and I are having the same conversation based on what I thought I read, because no one else, who else is having a conversation with fucking Google in front of them? No. So I might be like, I think
I
I
do
know
all
that
the
that was
time.
debunked. No, but
I
if
do
we
all
were
the
in the
time.
street, but if we were in the street or in a coffee shop or something,
Mhm.
I might
Mhm.
think that you're referring to this, when in fact you're not. You know what I mean?
no, not at all.
So that's a problem in that there's so much information out there as well that the wealth of information, the bulk of it, makes it hard to fact check, because I think I'm fact checking you and you're like, dude, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this. And then I might go, wait a minute, and Steve might remember something else entirely different.
Mhm.
It's a morass.
It is. Anyways,
Or-
let's move on to
Morass.
something more fun.
Okay.
Cheryl Parker.
Cheryl Parker. Yeah.
No,
Let's get her.
no.
Right. Let's get her. Or
I don't know if
tiger on the
you
list.
guys heard about this,
Ooh.
but on as Mike Johnson was pushing through the budget,
Yes.
Marjorie Taylor Greene was submitting
Yep.
a motion to vacate the chair.
Isn't that hilarious?
Again.
Like, what the-
Again. Like,
But they-
how many times do you have to kick your own self in the nuts
it's
to
beautiful.
get that? Like, it's dumb and it
I believe
only
it.
hurts you.
I believe the kids call that rake stepping.
It's insane. It's insane. And they're fundraising on it.
Absolutely.
Of course, why
It-
not?
It
Oh,
apparently this had to do with both the budget, working with Democrats to do their job and
Mhm.
pass the budget,
Yep.
but also because Marjorie Taylor Greene and I guess the MAGA faithful in the House don't want to pass funding for Ukraine support.
Yeah, they don't want to do anything. They're jackals. They
I know,
just want to be
it's-
like, yeah. That's all they want to
It's
do.
ridiculous.
That's all
It's
they want to do.
ridiculous, and they just make themselves look like morons.
Right. And that's why
Which is
Ken
not
Buck,
hard, but
and that's why
you
Ken
know.
Buck, who's insane, that's why he left, because he's trying to legislate, and he's like,
really fucked
Gallagher
him.
fucked
Gallagher
him.
really fucked
And I
him.
hope there's more.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be more. Let's roll it out. Let's get Hakeem
I
in
think
there.
it's got a-
No, it's not. I've already looked.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
It is sad when like some of your most insane people are like,
I'm out.
y'all are too crazy.
I know, right? That's too crazy for me,
too-
you know.
I love eating babies, but I want them
I
cooked
feel
first.
judged. Yeah, yeah.
Too far.
And while we're on the subject, before we wrap up here, okay, Trump has the money and he's just delaying and he's bluffing and he's trying to get more donations. That's what I think. I think tomorrow he's just going to magically have it. What do you think?
I don't think he's gonna have it. I think he's a.
Oh, I hope.
Oh, I hope not.
I was gonna really curse. I was gonna say I think he's a broke bitch, but
Do you? Because I think it's all a ruse. I don't see any accountability.
no,
but
because
if you
he's
think
not
we're gonna get-
liquid. He is not liquid. All of his assets are tied up in real estate,
I hope.
and
you're
he owes money on all of that real estate.
I hope you're right.
Like
I hope
he
you're right.
doesn't he hardly owns anything.
I hope you're
That's
right.
why all those security, bond companies wouldn't loan to him.
Unless he's lying, which is what I think. It's just a big.
I mean,
blunt
of course he's
grift.
lying, but no.
So
He made these assertions in court. So like unless like his attorneys are breaking like
Oh.
their oath and
Right.
lying to the court, which is possible.
Yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
How many of his attorneys, have gone to jail already? I think that part is true. I think he doesn't have the money. He is having a hard time finding somebody to fund him. Now, will he come up with it tomorrow? Maybe.
Mhm.
But who the fuck gave it to him?
Right. And they have the special counsel is going to be
It
watching.
wasn't Jeff Yaz. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Jeff Yaz will give money to everybody and anybody, but not this guy.
Oh,
See, that's
man.
why I wondered why Manafort was brought back. I wonder if there's some connection pipeline there.
Well, I mean, also because there were a lot of people from the 2016 campaign that were brought back.
Yeah.
But from his perspective, that's a winning team there.
Yeah, right. That's his guy. It's so crazy.
Yeah, the good old days. Yeah, the all stars.
Oh my God.
Fuck. Yeah, I hope you're right.
I
though.
really
I
do.
hope he gets the shit taken from him, but we'll see. We'll see.
I hate him.
On the positive front on that, like Fannie Willis is like recovered her shit and like is like, yep, I'm full steam ahead now.
I love that. Yeah, the Fonny train's coming.
She was honestly like the one that I had the most hope for, and I had the least hope for the case in Florida.
I know.
Not
what an
because
idiot.
it's not the easiest case to
Right.
him, because like that is open and shut.
Right?
But like that judge,
She's awful.
Eileen
Yeah.
Eileen Cannon
She's awful.
Yeah.
is redunculous.
Yeah, yeah. She's just trying to help him out. She's clearly
Absolutely.
trying to help him
Yeah.
out. I don't know why the appeals court doesn't yank her and recuse her, because this is insane.
Would they have to ask them to do that, and they want to go to the appeals court with an airtight,
Oh, it's just. Well, yeah. How airtight could it not be? He's on TV claiming, "Yeah, I took him. Yeah, I'm going to keep
no,
him.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm not giving him back."
I
Like,
mean,
that's insane.
the argument against Eileen Cannon.
Her, yeah. Well, I mean,
It has to be airtight.
well, she's already saying that she's going to allow the people the jury gets to decide if he was able to magically declassify things in his brain, and that's something. No, you're supposed to tell the people what the law says. The Presidential Record Act never says Trump gets to. He says the opposite. Why are we even?
Yeah, I agree.
It's insane.
And like that is insane. But our judges get to write jury instructions, and that is the system that.
But that's not
we
the right
have.
jury. That's the wrong jury instruction.
And
She's
that can be
right.
appealed, and it can be
It
appealed.
should be. That's what I'm saying.
But she has
crossed
to.
the line.
She has to
How's
put
that
that
not
in an
airtight?
order for that to be appealed.
Isn't it in the order? I thought
It's
it was
not
in the
in
order.
it in an order.
I
No,
thought it was,
Mm.
but okay.
I
but
don't think
that's-
so.
I
mean,
thought it,
I mean, mind you, I've been kind of like,
tune it out because you know it's useless.
yeah,
Like we
Um,
saw him commit insurrection on the fucking news. We watched it live. We heard the phone
know.
call in Georgia.
I'm
in 4
still mad.
years?
I am still salty that I wasn't there.
I know you would have been. Oh God, like, the
That's-
trouble you would have gotten yourself into. Then
Oh, I
would
would.
have been fantastic.
I have never. I've covered so many riots and never.
Oh no,
gotten
I'm
in
sure it'd be great.
trouble.
I just mean trouble as in, you'd have been in people's
good-
faces.
good
Good trouble.
trouble.
Good trouble. That's what I mean. No, yeah.
I'd have got my ass beat a couple of
Oh,
times,
God.
surely.
It'd have been great.
Well,
but you got it on camera.
That would have been
I'm
perfect.
sure.
That would have been catnip for
And I'm
the
sure
internet.
they would have been very sorry. Because very sorry.
I
Right?
wouldn't be if I were them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna say. Like you're not only capable, but you're also angry. So it's always nice to have the anger inside you to tap into. That's what I think if I actually met like Boebert or even Marjorie Taylor Greene, like I think I could probably take them just with my anger. I think I'd just attack them.
I don't know about
I know she
so
can
great.
do
She
her
is
leg thing.
tough.
I know,
She's like
but I
crazy,
yeah
physically,
yeah
weirdly.
yeah. I
strong.
headbutt from
I'm
Delco.
not. I'm going to stop there because I am not going to body shame her.
Yeah.
No, we're not shaming her. She's
As
super.
much as I might want to, I'm not going to. That's not
She
right.
is, she is
Not
super
right.
fit. I mean, there's no
She
doubt.
is like
Super
crazily
fit.
She's
so.
CrossFit
All that, yeah.
weirdo. Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's not all that
But all
matters.
of those,
Carolyn's got-
all those CrossFit.
Carolyn's Delco.
I'm Delco, bitch. I'm gonna get her. Oh God, and she wouldn't see me coming. She'd just think I'm like some middle-aged lady. And I'm like I just
Oh,
I'd be on her. I
I,
can't wait.
I've
One
always
day.
loved that, people
One day.
underestimate me, like in a
Yeah.
fight. Like they think
Yeah.
that because I'm older
Right?
and I'm heavier that I'm slow.
They miss the anger. No,
Not
no.
even that. Like even like when I'm in class and I'm
Oh,
sparring,
sure.
like
Mhm.
the other students or whatever, like they all underestimated me the first two times,
He takes 2 times.
and then they realized that not
First
only
time
was
wasn't a
I
fluke.
not only was I faster and more skilled than them, but I was holding back.
Oh, Greg knows all about that.
I think I've only actually recently sparred with like one person where I actually put any real effort into it.
Well, that's always good though.
It's kind of sad for me
Ah, you get there.
because I
No, but
enjoy
the
the
other-
fun. It's not me getting there. I just want to fight with somebody who's fun
Yeah.
that I have to actually work at.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's the whole point of sparring. So definitely you need a better partner. You need bigger partners. We're gonna get a bigger
It's not a
boat.
matter of
Oh, you know what I
bigger.
mean. Bigger as in more capable, more whatever it is, more matched. A fairer match. There you go. A more matched. A fairer match. That's it.
I think that a lot of their problem is that I know that I'm a smoker, so I put like maximum effort like
Right.
into the first couple of seconds to
Right.
end that shit.
That's funny. So yeah, our WHYY guy watched our last one where we were talking about eating my leftist ass. So he thought that was pretty funny. He was just like, "What the hell was that?" I'm like, "We're just practicing. We're getting our groove.
It's our idea of journalism.
That's journalism. You'll see.
It's comedy.
It is
Right?
It's
organic.
yeah.
But you learn. You learn
You
from it.
learn.
Yeah.
You live. You learn." So yeah.
I got the AI to tell me that we should put a label on this show because of me.
Oh,
We should what?
put a
Put a
label.
label on this show
Warning,
because of me.
parental.
Yeah.
Well, I do
Appar-
click the not for children button when I
Apparently my jokes are incredibly offensive
No.
without being directly offensive.
Well, I think that's the wheelhouse,
That's
though.
the
That
key.
that sounds to me like comedy gold. That's what I think.
It is. It is.
It is. All right. Well, on that note, it's been an hour. This was fun, and
Yeah.
we went all over the place. So I really appreciated the opportunity.
I loved the debate. I loved
Yes.
the debate.
Yeah.
And if I got too loud on the audio,
no,
I am
Oh, it was
sorry.
perfect.
Do not worry.
Mwah.
No.
I am sorry.
Want that?
Well, on the audio, I don't know, like on the.
Oh, I
you know,
see. Afterwards, I'll go
No
look
worries.
at the levels and stuff, and we'll make sure. But
No
I
worries.
thought it was good, and I like how you guys can kind of like without, without it ever getting anywhere.
We're married men. Like, of course we can.
That's our thing.
That's our
We're
jam.
used to arguing with you.
Been honing our chops. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So no, this is all good.
This
all
was
good.
really fun.
Yes, indeed.
The irony is I almost never argue with Danny ever.
Aw. Well, what's the point, really?
Yeah.
She's gonna be right anyways.
Right. Right.
That's
It's just
it.
a question of how long till she gets to be right. That's really it. Yeah.
Oh,
Even when she's wrong, she's right.
Yeah. Yeah. True enough.
well, it's in your best interest, really.
It is. It is.
Yeah. On that note, so enjoy your vacation. How long are you on your own?
When's the 29th? Friday, maybe?
Oh
Wow,
Damn.
fun.
And then I get to go out Friday because they're not gonna have any power in the house from like 8 to 4.
So yeah.
And what are they doing on your block?
I don't know, some electrical upgrades.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay, that's
Nice.
cool.
Right.
That's cool.
Sounds like it's
They,
better.
they called me. They called me with plenty of time, like in advance. Like I was at school picking up John the other day, and I was thinking I was gonna swipe it, ignore it because I thought it
Right.
was just a bill collector.
Oh,
And it was Pico, and I was like, oh, okay.
oh,
Well,
Nice.
it's
that's nice.
kind of
Supported
sucks that
message, I
don't have to
guess.
work. Yeah,
Yeah.
but do something.
Yeah,
All
get
good.
out.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
excuse to get out of the house, and it should be lovely. Though we're gonna have a nice week of weather, so that's
Are we? Are we?
yeah, that's
I haven't even looked. I haven't
Yep.
even looked because I intend to be here doing work,
Yep.
Tasking.
Tasking. A tisket and a tasket. Well, I'm so glad that that's working out for you. I feel like we haven't been very helpful lately, but here we might have helped.
A
So
relief.
I feel like good that
Yes, you did.
we
Thank you very much because it took the pressure off of me finding a new journalism job.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And it hones your chops, right? It keeps
Yeah.
it keeps your brain going. It keeps everything working while you're working. So I think
Mhm.
that's